In the 3rd century, a new religion appeared in the heart of the Sasanian Empire, in the lands of ancient Iran and Mesopotamia. It was founded by Mani, a prophet born in 216 CE, who claimed that humanity had been receiving fragments of truth for centuries, but never the full picture. His message was bold: the universe was not simply created good and then damaged by sin. Instead, reality itself was divided by a cosmic conflict between two eternal principles. On one side stood light, spirit, purity, and the divine. On the other stood darkness, matter, violence, and corruption. Mani's religion, later called Manichaeism, promised to explain why the world felt broken and how trapped sparks of light could be rescued from it. At the center of Manichaean belief was a powerful dualistic cosmology. The visible world was not viewed as neutral. It was a battleground where particles of divine light had become mixed into the dark prison of matter. Human beings were part of that tragedy. The soul belonged to the realm of light, but the body belonged to the realm of darkness. Every appetite, every attachment, and every act that bound a person more tightly to material life risked strengthening the forces that kept light trapped. Salvation, therefore, was not only about personal forgiveness. It was a cosmic rescue operation. The goal of history was the gradual separation of light from darkness and its return to the divine world. Mani did not present himself as a local teacher with a narrow ethnic message. He saw himself as the final messenger in a long chain of prophets. In his view, figures such as Zoroaster, the Buddha, and Jesus had all revealed important parts of the truth, but their communities had misunderstood, corrupted, or limited their teachings after their deaths. Mani claimed to restore the complete revelation and make it universal. This was one reason Manichaeism could travel so widely. It did not arrive in new regions as a completely foreign system rejecting everything before it. Instead, it could speak the language of other traditions, absorb familiar symbols, and argue that it fulfilled what earlier religions had only partially expressed. The religion was also unusually literary and visual for its time. Mani produced a canon of sacred writings, traditionally counted as 7 main works, originally written in Syriac. He is also said to have created a special illustrated book, using images to communicate teachings that words alone might not easily explain. This mattered because Manichaeism spread across many languages and cultures. A religion that could combine texts, hymns, diagrams, and images had powerful tools for teaching complex ideas. Its communities sang hymns, confessed sins, prayed, fasted, and organized their lives around ritual discipline. Manichaeism was not just an abstract philosophy of light and darkness. It was a structured religious life with scripture, worship, clergy, and missionary purpose. Manichaean society was divided between 2 main groups, the elect and the hearers. The elect followed a strict religious discipline. They were expected to avoid ordinary worldly activities that increased attachment to matter, including many forms of labor, sexuality, and food production. The hearers lived less strictly, supported the elect, gave alms, and hoped to gain spiritual merit through service. The daily ritual meal of the elect was especially important. Food, particularly plants, was believed to contain particles of trapped light. Through the pure bodies and prayers of the elect, this light could be released and helped on its journey back to the divine. To outsiders, this could appear strange. Within the system, it was central to saving the universe. Manichaeism grew quickly because it was intensely missionary. Mani's followers did not intend to remain a small sect. They carried their message across Aramaic-speaking regions, into the Middle East, across the Mediterranean, and along the great trade routes of Eurasia. Between the 3rd and 7th centuries, Manichaeism became one of the most widespread religions in the world. Its communities appeared as far west as Roman Iberia and as far east as China. Before Islam reshaped the religious map of the Middle East, Manichaeism was briefly one of the major competitors to Christianity. It offered a sweeping explanation of evil, a universal story of salvation, and a disciplined community for people dissatisfied with existing religious answers. Its rivalry with Christianity was especially important. Early Christians saw Manichaeism as dangerous not only because it was different, but because it was persuasive. It used the language of Jesus, revelation, apostleship, sin, and salvation, yet reinterpreted those ideas within a radically dualistic worldview. For Christian leaders, this was not merely another pagan religion. It looked like a rival universal faith competing for the same converts. Some people moved between the two worlds. The most famous example is Augustine of Hippo, who spent years as a Manichaean hearer before becoming one of Christianity's most influential theologians and critics of Manichaeism. His later attacks helped shape the image of Manichaeism in Western memory. Persecution became a constant part of Manichaean history. Roman authorities and Christian institutions increasingly treated the religion as a threat to social and theological order. Its rejection of the material world, its alternative scriptures, and its claim that Mani superseded earlier prophets made it unacceptable to rulers and bishops who wanted religious unity. By the end of the 6th century, Manichaeism had largely disappeared from Roman-controlled lands. But disappearance in the West did not mean extinction. The religion was remarkably adaptable. Even as it was pushed out of one region, it survived in others, especially farther east, where trade networks and shifting political conditions gave it new opportunities. In West Asia, Manichaeism persisted for centuries after its decline in the Roman world. But it also faced pressure under Islamic rule, especially during later Abbasid repression in the 10th century. The religion's organized missionary character and distinctive theology made it visible, and visibility could be dangerous. Yet its eastward movement continued. Merchants, translators, and missionaries carried Manichaean ideas along routes that connected Iran, Central Asia, and China. This Eastern story is crucial because it shows that Manichaeism was not simply a failed Western heresy. It was a transcontinental religion. Its history belongs as much to the Silk Road, Central Asian kingdoms, and Chinese religious culture as it does to debates in the Roman Empire. Manichaeism reached Tang China in the 7th century, where it developed a distinct local form. In China, foreign religions had to translate themselves not just linguistically, but culturally. Manichaean communities borrowed terms and presentation styles that made sense in a Chinese religious environment shaped by Buddhism, Taoism, and imperial regulation. At times, the religion gained real influence. It became the official religion of the Uyghur Khaganate, a powerful Central Asian state, until that Khaganate collapsed in 830. This political connection helped Manichaeism flourish, but it also made it vulnerable. When political patrons fell or imperial attitudes changed, Manichaean communities could quickly become targets of bans, confiscations, and forced assimilation. After the Tang court banned Manichaeism, the religion did not simply vanish. It resurfaced in later periods, including under the Mongol Yuan dynasty in the 13th and 14th centuries. But repeated persecution by Chinese emperors gradually pushed it underground. Over time, its identity became blurred. Manichaean practices and symbols were absorbed into Buddhist and Taoist contexts, making it harder to distinguish surviving communities from surrounding traditions. This process is one reason Manichaeism feels like a ghost religion today. It did not end in a single dramatic collapse. Instead, it was translated, pressured, hidden, renamed, and folded into other religious worlds until only traces remained. Yet those traces are real. Some historic Manichaean sites still survive in China, including the Chaoan Temple in Xinjiang, Fujian, one of the rare physical reminders of a religion that once stretched across continents. Scholars have also recovered fragments of Manichaean texts in multiple languages, proving how far its scriptures traveled. Its influence may have echoed into later medieval movements such as Paulicianism, Bogomilism, and Catharism, though the exact connections remain debated. The deeper lesson of Manichaeism is that history does not always preserve what was once powerful. A faith can rival empires, challenge Christianity, cross the Silk Road, shape entire communities, and still become almost forgotten. Manichaeism was not a footnote. It was one of the ancient world's great lost religions. If you found this helpful, Please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.